Hey everyone, the Steam Autumn Sale is finally here, and we have an incredible lineup of games to go through at deep discounts. From big open world AAA games down to hidden indie gems, there are just so many games on sale. But remember, if something catches your attention, the deals, most of them end on the 6th. There are a few outliers, and I'll have those at the bottom of the screen as always. Alright folks, with all that said, let's dive in. LevelHead is a creative platformer where you train your delivery robot to take on any challenge. You can build your own levels and then share them online for others to play. It features a full campaign with over 90 handcrafted levels, local co-op for up to 4 players, and endless community creations. Obviously, there's a ton of replay value, and right now, it's just $1. WaveTale is a story-driven action-adventure game set on a bunch of different islands. You play as Sigrid, a girl who gains the power to run and glide across the water thanks to a mysterious shadowy friend or companion. Now the game mixes up fast-paced surfing and swinging movement with light combat and a heartfelt story about family and loss. It's a short, atmospheric experience taking around 5 hours to finish up with a colorful art style and a relaxing vibe that stands out in the genre, and right now it's just $149. Next is Dandara Trials of Fear Edition, which is a gravity-defying Metroidvania where you can leap across walls, floors, and ceilings to explore this surreal world. Now, the updated version adds in new areas, a new boss, some new powers, and a deeper story. Combat and platforming are fast and fluid, paired with beautiful pixel art and a haunting soundtrack. It's challenging but rewarding, taking about 7 to 9 hours to wrap up. Right now it's marked down 80%, to just $2.99. Chaos Code New Sign of Catastrophe is a 2D fighter with a roster of 16 unique characters, from ninjas to magical girls and androids. Now each character can be customized with selectable moves and styles, giving battles a ton of variety. The game offers several offline modes like arcade, mission, and survival, plus local versus play. And on top of that, there is 2-player online as well. If you're a fan of flashy anime-inspired fighters, definitely check it out. Right now it's just $3.99. Death's Door is an atmospheric action-adventure game where you play as a crow tasked with reaping different souls. Now after one is stolen, you journey into a mysterious world untouched by death, battling monsters and massive bosses with melee, magic, and ranged combat. Now the game is challenging but always fair with tight controls, clever puzzles, and a darkly comedic story. You can expect about 9 to 12 hours of playtime, and right now it's just $3.99. Alright, and next is Doom Eternal, which is an incredible first-person shooter that cranks the action all the way up to 11 with fast, aggressive combat and fluid movement. You'll blast through demons across Earth and Hell with an arsenal of brutal weapons, awesome glory kills, and brand new traversal tools. If you enjoyed the 2016 reboot or just a good first-person shooter, this is definitely one to check out. Right now it's at a brand new low at just $3.99, which is a steal. Next is HUNTDOWN, which is a retro-inspired run-and-gun shooter where you play as a group of bounty hunters cleaning up a crime-ridden city. With the hand-painted pixel art, the 80s-style neon cityscapes, and a killer, absolutely killer soundtrack, and outstanding voice acting as well, it nails the arcade vibe. You can play solo or in local co-op, blasting your way through gangs and unique bosses and fast, chaotic gunfights. The campaign runs around 6 to 8 hours and feels like a love letter to classic action shooters. And again, right now this one is just $3.99. The Messenger starts as a straightforward 8-bit ninja platformer, but then it transforms into a sprawling, time-traveling Metroidvania. With tight controls, clever level design, and plenty of upgrades and secrets, it definitely will keep you hooked in. The humor and quirky characters add personality, and the soundtrack blends 8-bit and 16-bit styles perfectly. You can expect around 12 to 16 hours of fast-paced ninja action and exploration, and right now, again, it is just $3.99. Next up is Blazing Chrome, which is a hardcore run-and-gun shooter inspired by classics like Contra. You'll take down robot armies with a wide arsenal, hoverbikes, and mech suits across 5 intense stages. It supports 2-player local co-op, adding to the chaos, and it features brutal boss fights that will definitely test your reflexes. The main campaign is pretty short at about 3 hours, but it's packed with non-stop action and that classic arcade replayability. Right now you can grab it for just $4.24. A Short Hike is a cozy exploration game where you play as Claire, a bird hiking up to the top of a mountain. Now you can follow trails or freely explore, meeting quirky characters, fishing, gliding, and uncovering little secrets as you work your way up. The game's charming visuals and relaxing soundtrack make it a laid-back experience that you can wrap up in about 2 hours. And right now you can grab it for just $4.39. Alright, and next is InMost, which is a dark, atmospheric puzzle platformer with 3 playable characters. And what I love about it is the stories end up intertwining throughout. You'll explore a crumbling castle and eerie landscapes using traps, a scythe, and a hookshot in order to make your way around and survive. The pixel art and moody soundtrack create a haunting tone, and the game tells a heavy, emotional story meant to be experienced in a single play session. It lasts around 4 to 5 hours, making it a short but powerful experience, and right now it is just $4.49. Next up is Akimbot, which is a 3D action platformer set in a robot-filled galaxy. You play as X, an outlaw robot with his wide-cracking sidekick. You'll be blasting enemies and piloting ships across colorful planets. Combat mixes shooting, dashing, and wall running with plenty of weapons and cool upgrades that you can collect. It's a fast adventure with a Saturday morning cartoon kind of vibe to it, running at about 9 hours for the main story. Right now it's at a brand new low at just $4.99. Bravery Greed is a co-op dungeon crawler that blends roguelike mechanics with arcade combat. You can choose from several different fantasy classes and then team up with friends either locally or online to tackle dangerous biomes, fight bosses, and of course, grab that sweet loot. The game mixes PvE and PvP modes with skill trees and unlocks that keep runs feeling fresh. Now, a typical adventure is about 6 hours, but with progression and replay value, you can obviously get a bunch more out of it. And right now it's just $4.99. Next is Killer Frequency, which is a first-person horror puzzle game set in the 1980s, where you play as a radio DJ taking calls from townsfolk who are being hunted by a serial killer. Now you'll solve puzzles, gather clues, and make choices in real time to try to save the people calling in. It blends dark humor with slasher tension, featuring a fully voiced cast and an authentic retro setting. The story takes about 5 hours to wrap up, and again, right now, it is just $4.99. Paper Trail is a top-down puzzle adventure game set in a foldable paper world. You play as Paige, leaving home for the first time, and you'll have to solve puzzles by literally folding and flipping the environment to create new paths or clear a way. Now, it is a relaxing game, but very clever at the same time, and it has a touching coming-of-age story and, of course, that beautiful hand-drawn art. Playtime is around 6 to 8 hours, making it a thoughtful, creative journey with plenty of unique mechanics and a good bit of content when you take into account that right now it is on sale for just $4.99. Alright, and next is Control, the Ultimate Edition, which is a supernatural third-person action-adventure game from Remedy Entertainment that comes packed with the main story and both of the expansions. Now you play as a young woman called Jessie as you explore the shifting halls of the Federal Bureau of Control while unraveling a mystery tied to your missing brother. Armed with telekinetic powers and a transforming service weapon, you'll battle a corruptive force in surreal, ever-changing environments. Now it takes about 13 hours to beat the main story, closer to 25 with all of the extras, and the best part is, right now, it is just $3.99. Cookie Cutter, the Overkill Edition, is a hand-drawn Metroidvania that oozes punk energy and over-the-top gore. You play as Cherry, a chainsaw-wielding android on a brutal quest to rescue her creator. You'll be fighting your way through a massive dystopian megastructure, and the Definitive Edition adds in new combat moves, voice dialogue, cinematics, and a much more smooth frame rate. With stylish combat, quirky characters, and a wild setting, it runs about 13 to 15 hours for the main adventure, making it one of the more unique takes in the genre. And right now it is at a brand new low at just $1.99. CrossCode is an indie action RPG that blends Super Nintendo style visuals with a deep, modern combat system. You'll solve clever puzzles, master elemental powers, and fight fast, skill-based battles across a massive MMO-inspired world. It's praised for its heartfelt sci-fi story and retro charm, standing out as one of the best in the genre. You can expect around 30 to 40 hours to finish up the main story, with much more if you decide to explore everything. And right now you can grab this one for just $5.99. Alright, and up next is Slay the Spire, which is a roguelike deck builder and one of the better ones in the genre too. It's all about building crazy card synergies and learning to adapt with each run. With 4 unique characters, procedurally generated dungeons, and nearly endless replay value, it's one of the most addictive strategy games on Steam. A single run may take 20 to 30 hours, but mastering the game could take hundreds of hours. If you still haven't played, right now is a great time to pick it up. It's just $6.24. Next up is the Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2 Deluxe bundle, which is a package of 2 brutally tough retro platformers packed with humor, parodies, and reference to classic gaming frustration. Now, it's both a satire of old school design and a genuinely challenging and really good set of games with tight platforming and fun boss battles. Completing both games gives you about 5 to 6 hours and does unlock a third game as well. And right now, the bundle is just $6.99. Prison City is a retro-inspired action platformer that was inspired by classics like Shatterhand and Power Blade, and of course it does lean heavy into that retro nostalgia. You'll grapple, punch, and shoot your way through futuristic levels, facing down bosses and using your hookshot to navigate. The old school soundtrack and chunky pixel art nail the vibe, and it should take around 5 to 6 hours to wrap up. Right now you can pick it up for just $6.99. Alright, and next is Batboy, which is a side-scrolling action platformer with a vibrant 8-bit art style. You'll use Batboy's athletic skills and unique bat attacks to bounce off enemies, solve puzzles, and of course take down quirky bosses. It has the feel of a lost NES title, but with smoother controls and polish, and a run should take about 6 to 8 hours to wrap up. Right now you can grab this one for just $7.49. Up next is Radiant Silvergun, which is a legendary shoot-'em-up, famous for its weapon variety and intricate scoring system. Unlike most shooters, you have access to all of your weapons at once, making strategy as important as reflexes. The iconic boss fights and deep replay value make it one of the best in the genre. A single run is about 6 to 8 hours, but again, the replay value is through the roof. And right now you can pick it up for just $7.79. Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore is a loving throwback to the infamous CDI Zelda games, but with modern design, smoother controls, and plenty of tongue-in-cheek humor. It plays as a colorful 2D action platformer where exploration and quirky characters keep everything interesting. Now, it is a shorter game, taking around 5 to 7 hours to wrap up, and right now it is at a brand new low at just $7.99. Next is Katana ZERO, which is a stylish, neon-drenched action platformer where every fight feels like a puzzle. You have time manipulation, one-hit kills, and cinematic storytelling, all making it stand out within an overcrowded genre. The writing is sharp, and the presentation oozes style. It's a shorter game at about 6 to 8 hours, but the replay value is again pretty high, and the story twists do give it some staying power. Now this one you can grab for just $8.99, matching an all-time low. Evil Tonight is a love letter to 90s survival horror, complete with fixed camera angles, haunting environments, and puzzles mixed with combat. You play as a psychic exorcist exploring a cursed academy, blending atmospheric exploration with some really intense battles. Now it's a compact but polished horror experience at around 6 to 8 hours, and right now it is matching an all-time low at just $9.74. Next is Labyrinth of Zangetsu, which is a dungeon-crawling JRPG with a striking ink art style that sets it apart from other games in the genre. On top of that, you have classic grid-based exploration, turn-based combat, and party building, giving it that old-school feel. The story should take around 20 to 25 hours to wrap up, and right now it's just $9.89. The Shadowrun Trilogy is a collection of 3 cyberpunk RPGs with branching narratives, tactical turn-based combat, and deep character-driven choices. The fusion of magic and technology within the setting makes it unique, and the stories are rich with memorable characters. Now, each game is about 15 to 20 hours, so you're getting more than 50 hours total roughly, and right now, it's just $9.97. Daemon X Machina is a mech action RPG where you pilot fully customizable machines in fast-paced aerial battles. Now, missions can range from massive boss fights to squad skirmishes, and the sheer amount of mech parts and weapons gives it a ton of variety. The anime-style visuals, along with the massive big-scale fights, make it stand out, and you're getting a campaign that should last around 20 to 30 hours, making it well worth the $9.99 that you can get it for right now on sale. Alright, next is Turbo Overkill, which is a modern boomer shooter that cranks the chaos up to 11. Armed with a chainsaw leg, dual-wielding weapons, and wall-running movement, it's all about speed and style. Think Doom, but just much faster and in a cyberpunk neon city. It runs around 12 to 15 hours, but begs you to come back for more with its over-the-top action. Again, right now this one is just $9.99, well worth picking up. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is one of the greatest RPGs ever made, in my opinion. It features an enormous open world, rich storytelling, and unforgettable side quests. The Complete Edition adds in both of the expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, which adds in so much extra content it's crazy. You're looking at more than 150 hours, and right now, the Complete Edition is just $9.99. Is This Game Trying to Kill Me is a cool mashup of first-person puzzle solving, as well as top-down dungeon crawling and platforming. Now, it's all about comedy and thrives on trolling the player with traps, fake outs, and sudden deaths. It's intentionally punishing, but it is balanced with humor, making every surprise part of the fun. Now, it should take around 4 to 5 hours to wrap up, and right now, it's just $8.99. Shinobi Non Grata is a hardcore retro-style 2D action platformer. You play as Kaina, and you'll be wielding your sword, your shuriken, and various other weapons as you cut through demons and rival ninjas. The fast, punishing combat and period setting make it stand out as a love letter to classic ninja action games. You can expect about 5 hours for a full run, and right now, it's just $10.49. Up next is Sonic Origins, which is a remastered collection which bundles part 1, 2, and 3, as well as Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic CD into a high-definition package between mission challenges, unlockables, and the ability to revive some of gaming's most iconic levels with modern polish. It's a great way to revisit Sega's golden era. You're getting around 10 to 15 hours of gameplay from the pickup, and again right now, it's just $10.49. Ori the Collection gives you both Ori and the Blind Forest and Will of the Wisp in one incredibly rich package. Now, these are beautiful, emotional platformers set across handcrafted environments with some of the best soundtracks in all of gaming. The fluid movement, tight controls, and surprisingly challenging combat make it to where both games stand out within the genre. You're getting more than 20 hours combined across both, and right now, the bundle is just $11.23. Up next is Guns of Fury, which is a pixel art Metroidvania full of run-and-gun action, destructible environments, and mech combat. You explore an interconnected world, gain new skills, and face down tough bosses while unraveling a corporate conspiracy. Fans of 16-bit style shooters will feel right at home. Now, the main story runs about 8 hours, but you can easily double or triple that, no problem. And right now, it's just $11.24. Bionic Bay is a puzzle platformer built around a unique swap mechanic that lets you instantly change places with objects and enemies. Combined with a realistic physics system, it creates inventive traversal and combat scenarios. The biomechanical sci-fi world and online speedrun mode make it stand out and give it some replay value, but either way you're getting about 8 to 9 hours of gameplay, and right now it's just $11.99. Pro Country is a retro survival horror game set in an abandoned theme park. Blending exploration, puzzle solving, and monster encounters, it nails the PS1 era vibe while offering a unique story about greed and ambition. With both combat and non-combat modes, anyone can pick it up and have a good time, and it should take around 5 to 6 hours to wrap up. And right now, it's just $11.99. Alright, and from retro to modern, we have the Dead Space remake. Now this is a modern reimagining of a survival horror classic, where you once again get to play as Isaac Clarke, trapped aboard a cursed space station. You'll be fighting necromorphs with improvised engineering tools, stunning visuals, reworked systems, and an unrelenting atmosphere, making it one of the best modern horror remakes in many years. Now, it should take around 11 to 12 hours to wrap up, and again, right now it's just $11.99. Up next is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, which is a roguelike action game where the Turtles team up to rescue Splinter. Now, each run brings randomized layouts, modifiers, and loot, and it offers up to 4-player co-op, which is a big highlight. Unique elemental power builds and a branching story give it tons of replay value, and right now this one is at a brand new low at just $11.99. Chained Echoes is a 16-bit style JRPG that was inspired by the classics. It's set in a world where mechs and dragons exist side by side and features fast-paced turn-based combat and a deep skill system. With an epic story spanning 30 to 40 hours, it's one of the best modern indie RPGs that you could pick up. And right now, it's just $12.49. Alright, and next is Cult of the Lamb, which is a roguelike dungeon crawler mashed up with a cult management sim. As the Lamb, you recruit followers, build rituals, and battle rival cults, while also going out and doing some dungeon crawling. The Unholy Alliance update adds full co-op, new relics, and expanded gameplay, giving you even more reason to pick it up. You're getting dozens of hours of gameplay, and right now it's just $12.49. Eastward is a story-driven action RPG where John and Sam escape an underground society and journey across a post-apocalyptic world by train. The gorgeous pixel art, quirky characters, cooking, and dual-character puzzle mechanics give it tons of charm and variety to the gameplay. Now, a standard run should take more than 20 hours, and right now, you can pick it up for just $12.49. Next is Freedom Planet 2, which is a high-speed action platformer inspired by Sega classics, but with its own style. You have 4 playable heroines, each bringing unique abilities, while 24 stages and expanded adventure mode and boss rush modes give it tons of replay value and keep the action fresh. The momentum-driven gameplay is both accessible and challenging, and the main story is around 10 to 12 hours. Right now you can pick it up for just $12.49. Turbo Kid is a wild pixel art Metroidvania, and it sets itself apart by letting you ride and trick out on your bike in combat and exploration, alongside machetes and the over-the-top Turbo Glove. It's a gore-splattered tribute to the cult film, with branching paths and multiple endings. You're getting more than 10 hours from the pickup, and right now it's just $12.99. Cuphead is a run-and-gun platformer that's instantly recognizable from its early 1900s cartoon animation and the jazz soundtrack. It's almost entirely boss battles, and each one is a test of pattern memorization, precise dodging, and patience. You can play solo or co-op, with an average run lasting anywhere between 10 and 20 hours. Right now the base game is $13.99. You can get it for about $19 bundled with the DLC though. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is a 2D action-adventure game with a unique weapon choice. This game turns yo-yo tricks into both combat tools and traversal abilities. With over 1,000 screens of secrets, badges, upgrades, and crime bosses to topple, it's a mix of platforming, puzzles, and exploration that rewards creativity. You can expect about 13 to 15 hours of gameplay, and right now it's just $13.99, which is a brand new low. Alright, and next is Shadow of the Ninja Reborn, which is a full remake of the NES cult classic. It's an incredible action platformer. They've modernized the visuals while keeping the old school ninja challenge intact. You'll slash through futuristic stages with a mix of katanas, shuriken, and other weapons, and it offers local couch co-op as well. It's definitely a shorter game, but there is good replay value, and right now, it's just $13.99. Signalis is a survival horror adventure game with heavy psychological and cosmic horror elements. It stands out for its haunting atmosphere, resource management, and puzzle-driven storytelling. You play as Replica searching for her partner in a surreal, retro-tech nightmare. It should take around 10 to 15 hours to work your way through the story, and I promise if you make it to the end, it will stick with you for a long time. Right now, it's just $13.99. Alright, and next is G-Darius HD, which is an arcade shoot-'em-up and a remaster of the 1997 classic. Now this one lets you swap between HD and original visuals, and the game is known for massive boss fights. It rewards players who like experimentation in their shmups. You can expect about 4 to 6 hours per playthrough, and right now it's just $14.99. Iron Meat is a brutal run-and-gun shooter in the vein of Contra. It pits you against an all-consuming biomass across 9 gore-filled levels. With couch co-op and unlockable skins, it mixes retro intensity with modern polish. Now, runs are short at around 2 to 5 hours, but of course, there is plenty of replay value here. Right now, it's just $14.99. Nine Souls is a hand-drawn action platformer that fuses Taoist mythology with cyberpunk flair. Its Sekiro-inspired deflection combat makes boss fights intense and highly skill-based, while the interconnected world and lore offer depth for explorers. Now, a main run should take more than 20 hours, and this is one of the better games in the genre in my opinion, and right now it's at a brand new low at just $14.99. Agu and the Secret Forest is a family-friendly adventure puzzle game. Now it shines in the genre with its hand-drawn art, whimsical characters, and a mix of classic and unique puzzles. Exploration is lighthearted but layered with secrets, collectibles, and NPCs to talk to. A typical run is around 12 to 20 hours, and right now, it's also at a brand new low at just $14.99. Up next is the Plucky Squire, which is a hybrid action-adventure game and puzzle platformer. Now it cleverly shifts between 2D storybook pages and 3D exploration. It's packed with mini-games, puzzles, and boss fights, and it's charmingly unpredictable. The adventure lasts around 8 to 10 hours, and right now, it's just $14.99. Alright, and now Red Dead Redemption 2, which of course is Rockstar's open-world action-adventure game, and one of the most cinematic games of all time. Definitely one of the best Western experiences you can play. You follow Arthur Morgan in a vast, living world filled with survival mechanics, morality choices, and seemingly endless side quests. The main story takes more than 50 hours by itself, but you could get hundreds of hours before putting it down, and right now it is at an absurdly low $14.99. Next is Ruffy and the Riverside, which is a 3D action platformer with puzzle elements thrown in. Now, this one stands out with its unique swap mechanic that lets you copy and paste textures from the environment to then alter the environment around you. For example, you could turn rivers into vines, turn water into lava, that kind of thing. It's creative, colorful, and you get about 8 to 10 hours per run, and it really isn't too difficult either, so anyone could jump in and have a good time. Right now it's at a brand new low at just $14.99. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin is a hybrid of side-scrolling action and farming simulation. It blends demon-slaying combat with surprisingly deep rice cultivation mechanics. Your strength grows with each harvest, tying it directly to your progression in the game. Now you're getting more than 30 to 40 hours of playtime, and right now again, this one is just $14.99. Alone in the Dark is a modern reimagining of the 1992 classic that helped shape survival horror into what it is today. Set in a southern gothic mansion in Louisiana, you'll play as either Emily Hartwood or private investigator Edward Carnby as they uncover a dark mystery tied to trauma, faith, and ancient horrors. Expect atmospheric exploration, puzzles, and tense combat where every bullet counts. Now, it should take about 7 to 8 hours to work your way through, and it is an incredibly cinematic story, and if you haven't played yet, now is a great time. It's just $15.99 and matching an all-time low. Alright, and next is Beyond the Ice Palace 2, which is a revival of the cult classic, and it casts you as the Cursed King, rising from the grave to reclaim your throne. Wielding chains once used to bind you, you'll swing through levels, uncover hidden areas, and battle towering bosses. The game blends old-school platforming with modern action mechanics, rewarding exploration with new upgrades and power crystals. Now, it is a shorter game at about 5 to 6 hours, but for any fan of the genre, you'll have a great time. Right now, it's just $15.99, again matching an all-time low. And next up is The Last Faith, which is a gothic mashup of Metroidvania exploration and Souls-like combat. You play as Eric, a cursed man racing against time as his mind begins to unravel. The game delivers brutal melee action, firearms, and spellcasting, with stylish executions and non-linear progression through snow-covered castles and moonlit ruins, with 16 to 20 hours of content, gorgeous pixel art, and a dark narrative steeped in religion and decay. It's a solid pickup for any fan of the genre, and right now it is just $16.79. Chronicles of the Wolf is a dark Metroidvania set in 18th century France, where you'll hunt the legendary beast of Gévaudan as apprenticed Matteo Lombardo. The game combines fast platforming, puzzle solving, and brutal boss fights across castles, forests, and ruins. Featuring guest voice work from Castlevania veterans and a haunting soundtrack, it's about a 17-hour adventure that blends gothic storytelling with incredible exploration. And right now it's just $16.99. Alright, and next is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Now this one lets you step into the world of Pandora in a first-person open-world adventure game where you'll play as a Na'vi raised by the RDA, only to rediscover your roots and fight back against humanity's exploitation of the planet. You'll get to explore vibrant landscapes, tame your own Banshee for aerial combat, and switch between traditional Na'vi weapons and modern firearms. You can play solo, or now you can play online with a friend across a 20 to 40 hour campaign. With stunning visuals and immersive design, this is a steal at just $17.49. Next is A Plague Tale Requiem, which continues the story from part 1 as you're trying to search for a cure to your younger brother's supernatural affliction. The game is set in a sun-drenched but plague-ridden south of France, and it does a great job of balancing stealth, puzzle solving, and emotional storytelling. Expect swarms of rats, brutal encounters, and a mix of tools and powers that you'll have to use to survive. You're getting about 17 to 20 hours of great gameplay. It's a heartfelt but harrowing sequel that pushes its visuals, soundtrack, and narrative to new heights. And right now, this one is also $17.49. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 brings the player back into the fractured mind of this broken woman, a Celtic warrior battling psychosis while journeying through 10th century Iceland. Now, it's built for cinematic immersion. The game offers visceral melee combat, photorealistic visuals, and immersive 3D audio that puts you right into the game. At around 7 hours long, it's a tightly focused experience where every battle feels personal and every moment pushes the limits of storytelling. Now, if you haven't played yet, right now it is marked down to a brand new low at just $17.49. Alright, and next is Atomic Heart, which is an alternate history action RPG set in a retro-futuristic Soviet Union. Now here, utopian dreams collapse into chaos. You'll battle mutants, rogue machines, and experimental monstrosities using your incredibly awesome power glove. Now, on top of that, you have melee weapons and high-tech firepower. The combat thrives on variety, letting you mix elemental abilities, gadgets, and improvised tools to adapt against the unique enemy types that they just keep throwing at you. At around 16 to 25 hours long, with plenty of DLC that you can pick up as well, it's a visually striking, strange, and unpredictable adventure that blends brutal combat with surreal storytelling, and it runs great on the Steam Deck, by the way. Right now, you can grab the base edition for $17.99, or you could go with the gold or premium edition. Just check what they have, included, and how much you want to budget for it. Animal Well is a haunting puzzle platformer where you hatch from a flower and explore a labyrinth filled with secrets, dangers, and surprises. Now, instead of combat, survival depends on observation, clever use of items, and unraveling how the world's strange rules connect everything together. Every detail can become meaningful, and the nonlinear design ensures exploration feels fresh and mysterious. At around 8 to 11 hours, it's a hidden gem that you really have to play if you haven't yet, and right now you can grab it for just $18.74. Vanishers Ghosts of New Eden is a supernatural action-adventure game where ghost hunters Antea and Red must face a heartbreaking fate. Now, the game is set in 17th century North America, and it blends combat with investigations, forcing you to balance duty against personal love. Choices carry heavy consequences, shaping the story and the lives of those that you meet, and ultimately can change the outcome at the end of the game as well. With the mix of melee, ranged, and spiritual abilities, and about a 20 to 40 hour campaign, it is well worth the asking price, and right now you can grab it for just $19.99. Into the Dead Our Darkest Days reimagines zombie survival as a tense, side-scrolling shelter management game. It's set in 1980s Texas, where you guide a band of survivors through an overrun city, scavenging supplies, crafting weapons, and upgrading temporary refuges. Now, every decision matters, from who to save, to when to fight, and how to manage hunger, exhaustion, and despair. With replay value baked right into the randomized events, expect harrowing tension and strategy-driven gameplay, and runs can stretch out to about 15 to 20 hours. Now, this is an early access game, but I have had a chance to play it. It is pretty cool. Right now you can grab it for just $19.99. Up next is Piece Odyssey, which celebrates the anime's 25th anniversary with a turn-based RPG adventure featuring Luffy and the Straw Hat crew, who find themselves stranded on a mysterious island. You'll control multiple characters, each with their own skills and abilities. Now, combat blends traditional RPG structure with the flair that you know from the series. The story includes original content alongside classic arcs retold with a fresh twist, giving longtime fans a nostalgic but new experience at the same time. At around 35 to 45 hours, it's well worth checking out, and right now, it's just $19.99. Tactics Ogre Reborn is the definitive edition of one of the most influential tactical RPGs ever made. Set in a war-torn Valerian Isles, its branching story and moral choices create multiple paths and endings. Strategic, turn-based battles play out on 3D maps with deep class systems and revamped AI, keeping fights fresh and challenging. The remaster fixes some of the pacing issues, adds quality of life features, and added in full voice acting plus re-recorded music as well. With more than 50 to 100 hours of content, you can't go wrong. And again, right now this one is just $19.99. Trials of Mana is a full 3D remake of the classic 1995 action RPG, featuring 6 playable heroes. The game's branching story shifts depending on your chosen protagonist and who you have with you. The real-time combat is fast and flashy, with modern mechanics layered over the nostalgic adventure. Enhanced graphics, voice acting, and a remastered soundtrack bring the world to life, while new endgame content extends replay value as well. At about 20 to 40 hours, it's a heartfelt modern take on a beloved classic, and again, right now it's just $19.99. Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world action RPG that throws you into the neon-soaked streets of Night City as a mercenary trying to fight to survive. What makes it stand out is its branching narrative and deep character customization, from cyberware upgrades to your playstyle and combat. With the latest updates, visuals and mechanics are sharper than ever, and the city is packed with choice-driven quests and side stories. You're getting dozens of hours of gameplay, and right now, it is $20.99. The Thing Remastered is a survival horror classic rebuilt for modern platforms. It's a third-person shooter that continues the story from the legendary film. Now, the standout feature is the trust and fear mechanic, where teammates may or may not believe you when you say you're human. And of course, this adds constant tension. Now, you should get about 6 to 8 hours from it, and right now, again, this one is $20.99. Next up is Sea of Stars, which is a throwback to the golden era of JRPGs with stunning modern polish. It's a turn-based RPG that blends timed attacks, combos, and environmental exploration seamlessly. And then there's the heartfelt story, rich with memorable characters and moments. Add in things like fishing, sailing, and cooking for variety, and you've got a modern classic. You can expect about 30 to 40 hours, and right now, it's just $22.74. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is a reimagining of the Midgar arc, and it blends cinematic storytelling with a hybrid combat system of real-time action and tactical commands. It stands out with its breathtaking visuals, reorchestrated music, and expanded character arcs. Now, this is one of the most polished RPGs to date, and right now, you can grab it for just $23.99, which is a brand new low. Alright, and next is The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Reverie, which is a sprawling JRPG epic. Now this one ties together storylines from 3 major arcs in the Trails saga. Its tactical combat is deeper than ever with the new United Front system, and it boasts a massive cast and branching story paths. Now this one is very much a payoff for longtime fans, and right now it's also $23.99. Octopath Traveler is known for its gorgeous HD 2D style, and this one lets you choose from 8 different characters with unique abilities, each with their own branching storyline. The standout here is the layered turn-based combat system, where you can exploit weaknesses and chain together abilities using boost points for tactical depth. The narrative structure encourages replay and exploration, and the main story averages 60 plus hours or more. Now part 1 and 2 are both on sale, so either way you go, they're $23.99 and the deal ends on the 3rd. Rematch is a third-person football or soccer game for us here in America, and the hook to the game is kind of that there's no player stats, so how well you do depends purely on your skill in tackling, dribbling, positioning, and learning how to use the wall, as it is very much like a game like Rocket League. Now the game is non-stop arcade pacing. It's built around online team play and competitive leagues and seasonal updates, but it is actually a pretty cool game. We had a lot of fun playing it, my son and I. So if you're interested, right now it's $23.99, which again is a brand new low. Alright, and up next is Triangle Strategy, which is another tactical RPG from Square Enix. This one emphasizes player choice and political intrigue. The standout feature is its scales of conviction system, where party votes and persuasion shape branching storylines and alliances. Now, combat uses multi-tiered maps with clever elemental interactions, demanding smart positioning and resource management. A single run takes about 35 hours. Again, right now this one is $23.99. Next up is Wreckfest 2. The king of demolition racing returns with a brand new physics engine, delivering unmatched vehicle destruction. What sets this one apart is the mix of chaotic circuit races, derby battles, and stunt-filled obstacle tracks, all with fully customizable beat-up rides. With revamped career and online play, it's built for both solo and competitive chaos. You can expect about 15 to 20 hours for the career mode, and right now it's on sale for $23.99. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is a retro-style brawler that combines hand-drawn pixel art with 6-player co-op action. It remixes classic 90s Power Ranger episodes and lets you pilot Dinozords and even the Megazord in giant boss fights. Now, of course, the standout charm here is going to be sheer nostalgia, paired with modern arcade flair. It is a shorter game at around 3 hours, but of course the replay value is through the roof, and right now it's just $24.49. Echoes of the End is a cinematic action-adventure game blending magic, swordplay, and environmental puzzles. Its standout draw is the deeply personal narrative driven by Rin and her companion Abram, set against breathtaking landscapes inspired by Iceland. Now, combat combines magical abilities with melee, while traversal and puzzles mix gravity control and illusions, and it offers about 10 to 15 hours of gameplay. I think this one kind of went overlooked a bit, but if you haven't played yet, it's at a brand new low at just $29.99. Alright, and from there, we'll go to one I'm sure you have heard of, Liza P. Now, of course, this is a dark Souls-like inspired by the Pinocchio story, and it sets us up in this plague-ridden city of Krat. The standout is its blend of stylish weapon customization and the ability to lie or tell the truth, which can affect the ending of the game. Now, all of that is wrapped in brutal, precise combat reminiscent of Bloodborne. It's a demanding game, but incredibly rewarding as well, and you should get about 30 to 35 hours. Right now, it's just $29.99, matching an all-time low. Alright, and from NeoWiz over to FromSoft themselves, we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This is a brutal action-adventure game set in Japan, where you play as a shinobi armed with a prosthetic arm and deadly blade techniques. Now, unlike Souls games, Sekiro emphasizes precise parries, vertical traversal, and stealth, creating fast, punishing duels against towering foes. Now, this game is going to test your patience and requires razor-sharp timing, but if you're up for it, right now it's at half price at just $29.99. The Altars mixes survival mechanics with a heavy dose of sci-fi storytelling. You're stranded on a hostile planet, and you'll have to create alternate versions of yourself, each shaped by past choices, in order to crew your mobile base. Every alter brings unique skills, but also clashing personalities, leading to tough moral decisions alongside resource gathering and base expansion. At around 20 to 25 hours, it's a good value right now on sale at a brand new low, although this one you do have to pick up on Fanatical, but it is $22.74. Alright, and another game that you'll have to get on Fanatical is Doom the Dark Ages. Now this is a prequel to the 2016 and Doom Eternal arc, and it transports you back to a medieval war against hell itself. The series' signature high-speed carnage gets a brutal new edge with weapons like the Shield Saw, Mecha Dragons, and massive Atlan mechs. Levels are larger and more varied than ever before, spanning castles, hellscapes, and forests, while pushing you to stand your guard and shred through hordes of enemies. A single-player campaign is around 14 to 20 hours, and it's pure adrenaline. Again, reminder, this is on Fanatical, but it is $39.89. Chronos: The New Dawn. That's right, the brand new survival horror game from the Bloober team is available on sale already. Now, as I mentioned, it is a grim survival horror game, blending retro futuristic aesthetics with brutal and intense combat that will kill you if you're not careful. As the Traveler, you're going back to different points in time back in the 80s to find different people in order to preserve their essence, so to speak, before a cataclysmic event wipes out humanity. The game has all of the staples that you look for in a good survival horror game: atmosphere, tension, ammo and inventory management, upgrades, new weapons, an incredible atmosphere, great music, and some effective jump scares when they decide to use them. Now, on your first playthrough, it'll probably take about 12 to 14 hours, but there are multiple endings and a new game plus that encourage you to come back for a second or third run. Again, you have to go to Fanatical, but right now it's all the way down to $47.99, a 20% discount. That deal ends on November 5th. Alright, and finally we have Folly of the Wizards, which is a comedic roguelike where you bumble your way through dungeons as a clumsy apprentice, packed with hand-drawn art, quirky humor, and over 100 different items. Every run offers new spells, allies, and social encounters with eccentric wizard cults. Now, decisions carry weight, relationships can alter the outcome, and your misfired spells add chaos to every fight. Now, it's a lighthearted adventure with incredible replay value, and this one is back over on the Steam store at just $23.99. Alright folks, and here are some other deals to check out while you're already browsing around on the Steam store. Alright everyone, that wraps up the video. Thank you as always for hanging out. Did any game catch your attention? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video or you found it helpful, hopefully we earned a subscription today. Please remember to leave a like on it, share it around, and I'll catch you on the next one.